everyone, and happy Arbor Day. Woo! My name is Lionel Bradford. I'm the president and executive director of the Greening of Detroit. And on behalf of Board of Commissioners and our entire staff, we are pleased to have you here today to kick off tree planting in Detroit. The Greening of Detroit is celebrating our 30th year this year, and we're pleased to have planted over 103,000 trees throughout the city of Detroit over our 30-year history. In addition, by the end of this year, we'll add another 1,900 trees to that total, so we're very proud of that. Also, we've employed over 2,000 Detroit youth who have maintained our green spaces and allowed us to introduce them to natural resource related fields. And we do that through our summer youth employment program called Green Corps. And lastly, we train and help to employ over 700 Detroit adults who have come through our adult training program, Detroit Conservation Corps, introducing them to sustainable jobs and paving the way for the green industry here in Detroit. We're pleased to celebrate Arbor Day today. I thank you all for helping us plant 60 new trees in this beautiful field, Stewart Park. This is part of our partnership with the City of Detroit as we look to reforest our inner city parks. This is all made possible by the generosity of our good friends at Fredenberg North America. Fredenberg has been a partner of the Greening of Detroit for 5 years now, going on 5, Bob. And we're pretty excited about the commitment and the partnership there. They've supported our gardens, and now they're supporting our development of our tree nursery over in Rouge Park, Myers Nursery. So we're pretty fortunate, and we thank you all for being here today, okay? Please help me. Right now I'm going to bring up Bob Evans, who's the president of Fredenberg North America, to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. As Lionel mentioned, my name is Bob Evans, representing the Freudenberg Group in North America. We have colleagues here today from Freudenberg North America, the Corporate Center in Plymouth, Freudenberg NOK Sealing Technologies also in Plymouth, Freudenberg Filtration Technologies, Plymouth. We have other colleagues in the Metro Detroit area as well, Chemtrend in Howell, and Vibroacoustic in Farmington Hills, and we have other presence in the state. The Freudenberg Group is a global organization, family owned, and this year we're celebrating our 170th anniversary. And thank you. And we are celebrating that by giving back to our communities, as is part of our corporate ethic anyway. But we have an initiative to plant 170 trees in each of the communities around the country, really the globe, where we operate. And we have had a long-standing partnership with the Greening, so a terrific opportunity to leverage that relationship to bring trees into the metro area. As Lionel mentioned, 60 today. There's a tree planting in Howell going on also today, and then we will plant more later this fall with the Greening to round out that 170. We're happy to be here. We're happy to be a partner to the Greening. It's been terrific, and we're happy to help the city as well and be a part of the community. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Next, I'd like to introduce Joe Harani Herrera, who is the director of the City of Detroit Office of Sustainability. So, Joe, want to come up and say a few words?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Earth Week.
Happy Earth Week.
Very exciting. So, pleased to be here today to be able to do this extraordinary tree planting with Greening of Detroit and with Freudenberg. Very exciting. So about a year ago, actually, my office launched the Sustainability Action Agenda process. And we've, through 14 different ambassadors who wear shirts like the one I have on right now. So we've actually been able to talk to over 7,000 Detroiters to really understand what are their major challenges, what are their ideas, and what role do they see sustainability playing in their lives and frankly improving their lives. And so we're currently working on a draft plan that's going to be launched in June, but we would be remiss not talking about it this Earth Week because it's very appropriate to this week. And so some of the prime tenets of that plan are how do we ensure that Detroiters can become more healthy and more thriving? And we know that trees play a huge part of that, right? Trees actually lower the air temperature around them. They actually capture pollutants and make the air easier to breathe in the area around people. So we know it contributes to healthy, thriving people. And we know that training programs like the Greening of Detroit runs helps bring people into the workforce who might not otherwise be in the workforce. We have a number of employees at the General Services Department at the city who are returning citizens. And having that, be able to have people engaged in actually improving their communities is so vital to people being healthy and thriving. Another big aspect, pillar of our plan is around affordable, high-quality homes. And so we know many Detroiters don't live in a home that's affordable or high quality. But we also know that trees play an immense role. Actually, having trees planted around your home can reduce your heating bills by up to 25%, your heating and cooling bills by up to 25%, which is pretty amazing, right? The trees can play that role. So I think it's very symbolic that we're here doing that. Another big pillar of the plan is around thinking about clean and connected neighborhoods. And we know that trees actually improve property values in a neighborhood. They improve the walkability, and they actually improve public safety for people in a neighborhood. So I think that's a tremendous asset to the neighborhood. And we've been actually looking at the overall tree canopy throughout the city, and we're at about 25%. But this neighborhood is actually it's lower, quite a bit lower. It's at about 10%. So I think it's really appropriate that we've chosen this site to come improve the tree canopy for this neighborhood, which improves the quality of life overall for the neighborhood. And then the final aspect of our action agenda, we'll be releasing in June, is around equitable green city. So that's talking about how do we ensure that Detroiters can be resilient to the impacts of climate change. We know that heavy rain events are happening more often. We know that high heat events are happening more often, and trees can play a role doing both of those, right? We know that one single tree could actually absorb over 125,000 gallons in a year. So that's an amazing feat. And so we need to increase that canopy and increase the trees that are able to do that. And then of course, you all know this, but trees also incorporate carbon into them, which we need to reduce our carbon to reduce our impacts on climate. So I want to just wrap up by thanking all of you, the volunteers from Freudenberg, the folks from the community, the Greening of Detroit, because really in order to make this city more sustainable, more healthy, more vibrant for all Detroiters, we're going to need all hands on deck, right? We're going to need everyone pitching in, and that's why it's so exciting to have such great partners in this work. Look forward to the action agenda launching in June, because we're going to need your help making those actions a reality as well. If you go to detroitmi.gov/sustainability, you can sign up for our newsletter. We don't send it too often, so we won't about monthly, so it's not too annoying. But you'll find out about the launch events and find out about more opportunities like this to participate. So we'd love to have you as a future partner in making Detroit healthier and greener. Thank you very much.
Lastly, guys, I'd like to call up Angel Squalls from she's an assistant forester for the city of Detroit, who's going to read our Arbor Day proclamation, but also Lisa Perez come up as well, who's from the U.S. Forest Service. Lisa's going to tell us a little bit about the person who started Arbor Day. So, Angel.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
You see me on my tippy toes? Okay. That's better. Good morning, everybody. My name is Angel Squalls with the City of Detroit Forestry Department. I'm the Associate Forester and Tree Planting Manager for 10,000 Up with Mayor Mike Dugan.
And hi, I'm Lisa Perez with the United States Forest Service, and I'm in the Urban Connections program here in Detroit. So we're just sharing really quickly, a lot of folks don't know that J. Sterling Morton, who started Arbor Day was actually from the city of Detroit. And the reason, the reason why he was so excited about trees was because of the trees around him in Detroit. He moved from Detroit with his family to Nebraska in 1854, so you can imagine how many trees they had out in Nebraska about that time. Probably a big zero, because it was a big plain state. And so when he moved out, he knew he missed the trees of Detroit so much, he wanted to plant as many trees as he could. And he was able to get many people in Nebraska on board. In 20 years, that's when the first Arbor Day in Nebraska took place. Over 1 million trees were planted at that time in Nebraska. So we can do the same. The trees in Detroit, in lots of ways, like Detroit has sparked innovation in many ways. They can spark more trees here and around the nation. Thanks.
So I'm here today to read the proclamation from the mayor of the city of Detroit. The reason I'm reading this proclamation is so that the city of Detroit can remain awardee of the Tree City USA Award. That's a nationally recognized program, and Detroit has been a Tree City USA Award recipient for 30 years. And I think the program has only been around, 40 years? Around 40? So that's pretty good. So here's the proclamation. This is from the mayor. Arbor Day, April 26, 2019. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for tree planting. This day, now recognized as Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees throughout the state of Nebraska. And now throughout the nation. Arbor Day is an opportunity for each one of us to look beyond ourselves and consider one of our community's most precious resources, trees. A forest of trees reduces the erosion of topsoil, cuts heating and cooling costs, moderates temperature, cleans the air, produces oxygen, and offers a habitat for wildlife. Detroit has been designated as a Tree City USA for the last 30 years by the National Arbor Day Foundation, a well-deserved title that the citizens of this city continues to preserve. And on Arbor Day, even the smallest deed can have a positive effect for our community. This day also provides an opportunity for individuals to reach out and extend a helping hand to others in our community, neighborhoods, and families. Therefore, I, Mike Duggan, Mayor of the City of Detroit, recognizes April 26, 2019 as Arbor Day in the City of Detroit. I urge all residents to plant a tree to improve and beautify our environment and to support efforts to protect our trees. Congratulations, I am certain Arbor Day will be a success. That's from the mayor.
All right, just before we get going here, I do want to acknowledge we do have board members that are here. So any board members, we thank you for being here. Also want to acknowledge our staff. The Greening of Detroit, these folks work very hard throughout the year to put our programs and make our programs sustainable and successful. So thank you all for being out today. Our entire staff is here today, so thank you. With that said, I'm going to call Ryan up. Ryan is going to give us our planting instructions for the day.
The most important thing that we'll do today is get the hole to be the right depth. Measure with your shovel, and then take that hole, look at the bottom of the rake. You can see I'm kind of right where.
So they're a little wet, so they're going to put some extra weight on it.
Right, so it's going to be heavy. So you get through the precipice, the hole, let it go. I'm going to try to control this as best I can, which obviously would manipulate the tree in the hole.
Do it look right now?
Yeah, what do you think? Good? We don't want to get too much dirt in there.
At some point in time,
Right.
you're going backwards.
Okay. And actually, when you do that, a little bit of dirt kind of goes a long way. You see what Barry's doing? He's got his shovel in his hand. So he's got something to balance on, but he doesn't have to grab the tree there. Come on.
We're raking all this dirt in so it looks nice because